Are science and religion locked in an eternal battle, a war between reason and faith? Or is there a different story to be told, one of quiet harmony and unexpected connection? This question, as old as science itself, often paints a picture of stark opposition. But what if they aren't enemies? What if, instead, they are two different languages trying to describe the same, vast, and often incomprehensible reality? A book, Science and Religion, a very short introduction, by Thomas Dixon and Adam R. Shapiro, offers some thought-provoking ideas on this very topic, which we will now explore. It is often said that science has become the new religion of our times, and structurally, you can see why some might think that. People often try to use science to derive an ought from an is, to infer how we should live from what exists. Yet this is a well-known logical fallacy. Just because something is a certain way in nature doesn't mean it ought to be that way in our society. This fundamental problem shows precisely why science, on its own, cannot fully serve as a new religion. It is a brilliant tool for description, but it is not inherently a moral guide. So if science can't be our sole religion, is there a place for both? Perhaps. Science, with its empirical methods, is our most powerful tool for understanding the physical universe. It describes the how of our existence with breathtaking precision. But when we ask it for the why, for the ultimate meaning of life, its answers can feel incomplete. It can feel like being told the answer to life, the universe, and everything is simply 42. The answer is precise, yet it leaves us searching for the question. And this is where religion can find its role. It steps in to offer not a scientific explanation, but a sense of purpose, of hope, of comfort in the face of these profound mysteries. It provides a framework for morality, a sense of community. In this sense, they can be complementary, each addressing a different human need, so long as we remember that one is not a substitute for the other. Of course, any discussion of religion inevitably leads to the question of God. And here the definition is key. Is God the God of the gaps, a being who exists only in the spaces that science has yet to illuminate? Or is God something else entirely? The pantheistic view sees God as synonymous with the universe itself, an idea that echoes ancient concepts like the Tao, the underlying natural order of things. Or perhaps a deistic God, the great clockmaker who set things in motion and then stepped back. This is a far cry from the theistic God who actively intervenes in human affairs. And what of the sacred texts, like the Bible? Must they be taken as literal historical fact? Or can we view them as a form of literary heritage, a collection of stories and wisdom passed down through generations? To read the Bible as literature is not to diminish its importance. On the contrary, it is to appreciate its richness, to understand it as a product of its time, and to recognize the timeless truths it may contain about the human condition. This brings us to a pivotal idea. What if we were to accept that God, whether we call it nature, a universal principle, or the cosmos, is a personified abstraction of both what we know and what we don't? If God is the name we give to this vast tapestry of existence, then the conflict with science dissolves. Science becomes the act of slowly unraveling that tapestry, of discovering its threads, and religion becomes the act of marveling at the beauty of the whole, of finding our place within it. So, how do we portion the world between these two powerful forces? Science should, without a doubt, have the final say on the physical world. Its domain is the realm of evidence. But this doesn't extinguish the role of religion. It can still serve a profound purpose, but this comes with a crucial condition, that it does not force its doctrine onto others. Its value lies in being a personal source of meaning, a voluntary community, not a compulsory ideology. Ultimately, the question of whether we need religion in the 21st century is a personal one. By moving beyond the simplistic narrative of conflict, and by understanding that faith can have a place as long as it respects the freedom of others, we can create a space where both science and belief can coexist. They can remain separate, not as rivals, but as two different yet equally human ways of making sense of this extraordinary world.